What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay here for Vanguard Vlogs, coming at you with a deck profile for the beautiful Sanctuary of Light, or aka Planetall Dragon, ride chain. It's a pretty budget deck out of the new set. You saw us crack open a bunch of them during the case unboxing we did there. It was kind of one of those things that I forgot it was in this set until we pulled a bunch. And I was like, you know what? Hey, when we were divvying up the spoils, I was like, I'll take this deck and I'll make it. I got into the game after Royal Paladins kind of waned and Gold Paladins and more become, the Paladin deck that everybody ran. And my first deck was actually a ride chain. I used to run Raptor Kernels out of BT14, so they always have a soft place in my heart. So I threw this together. My perfect guards came in the mail, so I figured, why not for the week of BT14, go ahead and make a deck profile. So the starter is obviously going to be the grade 0 for the ride chain. It's the typical, when a Sanctuary of Light Little Storm rides this unit, look at the top 7 cards of your deck for the Sanctuary of Light Planetall Dragon, the grade 3, or the Sanctuary of Light Determinator, which is the grade 2. Reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand. It's a really good way to get the rest of the ride chain if you don't draw into it. Pretty typical, but I like it. The art's super cool. Wanted to go ahead and show off the ride chain before I got into the meat of the deck. So this is the grade 1, which normally when you're running a ride chain deck, grade 1 kind of makes or breaks you. Because if you miss the grade 1, it's really hard to keep it going, and there's a lot of other effects by the other grades to search the rest out. So when he rides, he gets 1,000 for having the grade 0 in the soul. And when a grade 2 Royal Paladin not named Sanctuary of Light Determinator, aka the grade 2 of this ride chain, rides this unit, if you have the size 0 Planetary Lancer in the soul, you go to the top 7 cards from your deck, search for the grade 2 Determinator, and ride it, and then shuffle your deck. So even if you have to ride another grade 2, this lets you search out the grade 2 you want in the top 7 cards and get another shot at riding it and keeping the chain going. Super love the art. It's a really great card. I like if you ride a different grade 2, go ahead and search out the Ride Shade grade 2 effect to keep them going. This, of course, is the grade 2 for the ride chain Sanctuary of Light Determinator. If you have a card named Sanctuary of Light Little Storm, aka the grade 1, in the soul, he gets plus 1,000. When this unit rides a card named Sanctuary of Light Little Storm, if you have the card named Little Light Planet Lancer in your soul, search your deck for up to 1 Sanctuary of Light in the name and call it to the rear guard and shuffle your deck. It's really good. When you call him, you get to pretty much search your deck for any Sanctuary of Light cards, either the grade 1 for a booster, the grade 2 for another column, or if you even want to get super aggro and get another grade 3 out super early to start swinging for big numbers, it does that too. I like it. I usually use it to fetch the grade 1, so that way I have the booster, because it works really well with the grade 3's effect. So Sanctuary of Light Planetall Dragon, the big papa with the big mappa, as it were. This guy's awesome. He gets 1,000 for having a Determinator in the soul, and his big limit break is when he attacks a Vanguard, all your units with Sanctuary of Light in the name get plus 3,000 until the end of turn. You can counterblast 2 when he's placed on the Vanguard, pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 Sanctuary of Light, and call it to the rear guard and shuffle your deck. So between the grade 2 and counterblasting for the grade 3 when he's called, you can get a whole nother column, and with this effect of pumping up Sanctuary of Light, it gives them big attack, but they don't have to be attacking. So if you have a column of Determinator and Little Lancer, you're swinging for a pretty big column. That's what, 12 and 10? So that's a 22k column, no triggers. It's really good. I like the art on this guy a lot. The only thing I don't really like with him is because initially I was like, oh dude, I'll just run a bunch of stand triggers, and since all my rear guards are getting plus 3k, I'll just stand for days. You actually need to swing with him first in order for the boost to go through for the other rows, columns. So what I've been doing is I will start left to right, swing with one column, attack, swing with the Vanguard, give the boost to all my remaining column, and then hope for stands to stand up the first column back up. Not totally set on the trigger lineup, but it's a lot of fun. I like the fact that it's got kind of a very Yu-Gi-Oh-esque, plussing up things to the same name, and look at that art. So sexy. So now we got the ride chain out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and just show off the rest of the deck. So when it comes to triggers, right now I'm just running rainbow triggers. 4 heal, 4 stand, 4 draw, and 4 crit. They're the exact 4 Royal Paladin triggers that came out of this set. And yeah, they are all Royal Paladin For a while there, I was accidentally pulling gold paladin stuff out because of all the Ezreal support. So I just run rainbow triggers for now. I'm really big on running 12 crit a lot. A lot of the people at the shop know me as the guy who's always running 12 crit in a lot of his decks. But for this one, since it's kind of a general build, I'm just going to see which works better and just run rainbows for now. Might change that later. When it comes to the size 1s, oh, I almost had it perfect. There you go. For size 1 support, I really had to dig back. I went ahead and I'm running Lake Maiden Leon. I like her a lot. She's pretty much Announcer's Shout. It was the first time I was introduced to this effect, and I kind of tag things with the first time I saw it. You can rest her, discard a card from hand to draw a card. I like this effect because it helps you try to get the Ride Chain into your hand or get rid of non-Sanctuary Light cards in favor of more Sanctuary Light cards to boost up Planetall Dragon's effect. So I run 3 of her because she's not bad, a 7k booster if nothing else. Next, we run Jewel Knight Melmy. I call him Tigger because look at that face. It looks like a little Tigger. Anyway, when he's placed on the Vanguard or Rearguard circle, if you have a Royal Paladin Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, put the top card of your deck into the damage zone. At the end of the turn, choose a card from your damage zone, return it to your deck. And you do have to counterblast 1 for that. I don't remember if I said that or not, but so essentially just a self-damager. I like self-damagers. I know a lot of the top meta players run them so that way you give yourself limit break on your turn and then lose it for your opponent's turn. I'm running 4 right now. I really like the effect. It's actually helped me get off Planetall Dragon's effect a lot more. Ride to him, use Tigger, do the thing, get limit break, get rid of limit break, and let your opponent hit you next turn. I run 4 right now because it's a 6k beater with a good effect. It's not too bad. It's working good so far, but I don't know, I might drop it later. But for right now, self-damager, super sweet. And then I have 4 Flashing Shield Assaults. Yeah, that's one of the only things that kind of made me, go humbug when it came to building this deck, is I didn't have any Royal Paladin Perfect Guards. And with Jewel Knights getting support, the Jewel Knight Assaults shot up in value. I managed to get these for about $7, and they're a perfect guard. They're Royal Paladin. The cool thing is, though, if you get them now, they're still kind of cheap, under $10-ish a piece. And when the Legion comes out, there's no archetype for Royal Paladin that requires, a specific card name or anything. So these assaults will pay rent when the Legion comes out, and Sing Saver and Blaster Blade, run the meta. So it's a good time to pick them up now while they're cheap. Big fan of doing stuff cheap. And now for the grade 2s. Alright, I almost had a perfect stack. So I'm running the Conjurer of Mithril. Essentially Devil Summoner. Again, the first time I saw that effect. When he's placed in the Vanguard or Rearguard, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a grade 1 or 2 Royal Paladin, call it. If not, shuffle your deck. I run 4 of him just because he's a free plus. Call him to the Rearguard, try to fill up call him to the front row, try to fill up a column with him, try to get some more Sanctuary Light out there, and then just intercept with him as a free shield. With only a 7k attack, he's not the most amazing, but for his call effect, it's pretty good. And part of the reason I'm trying to call so much is 1, for Planetall's effect, and 2, for Jewel Knight, or Pathetic Jewel Knight Owen, my other grade 2. This guy used to be really expensive back before Jewel Knights got more support, because he was one of the few grade 2 Jewel Knights. I really like his effect because if you have more rear guards than your opponent, he's an 11k beater. And with this deck, there's just a lot of calling from deck. You had a grade 2 that calls from deck. You had a grade 3 that calls from deck when it rides. Combined with the other grade 2 that calls from deck, you're going to pretty much just have a full board. I run 3 of him just to be an 11k beater. I like him. He's gone down now, so if you're kind of humming and hawing about this card because of the price, go on out and snatch him up now. I really like him in this deck. I was running 2 at first, and I ended up going 3 because, he does pay rent. And then for the other grade 3 we got here, it's going to be... Wait a second. It's the same guy. So the promo from the box toppers, they're the same cards. They're an unlocker for most of the clans, but they have 2 separate art. So this is the Sanctuary of Light Brightness Dragon. You counterblast 2, soul blast 2, choose up to 3 of your Royal Paladin rear guards, and those units gets plus 5,000 until the end of the turn. This ability can only be, or cannot be used for the rest of the turn. And you can counterblast 1 and unlock a card. This is a pretty good ability. I would almost say to fill up your board. Even if you miss the ride chain to 3, he's still just a really good grade 3. You counterblast 2, Soul Blast 2, and pretty much Sin Saver, is that the original one? No, Soul Saver Dragon, and just boost up the rest of your columns. I like him a lot. He's pretty good. He's a good alternative, and honestly, after a couple turns with this effect, you can really just use this guy to push over for the rest. So you're chipping away at the hand with the bigger columns from swinging with your Vanguard, and then once they're looking nice and fat, you just drop this mother, Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 2, and just make your columns stupid huge. The alternate art's really cool. I like that they have that. And, I mean, I don't often play against a Link Joker deck, but it's nice to have the option to go ahead and unlock a card. Part of the reason I'm not running some of the other choices as far as grade 2s go, I know there's a grade 2 that when it hits you can call Royal Paladin from deck. The reason I Conjure of Mithril over that card is just because there's a Counterblast 2 for Planetal Dragon to call when he's ridden, and then this guy's effect is Soul Blast 2, Counterblast 2, and yeah, I just wanted to conserve my Counterblast for my heavy hitters. It's a fun deck. It's not super competitive. Narukami give it a lot of trouble. I would say Link Joker gives it a lot of trouble, but honestly, Brightness Dragon really helps solve that problem. So it's a fun deck. It's a good way to get into Royal Paladins. I like it. I'm probably going to get together. Me and Jared are going to shoot some more videos for the vlog, and I definitely want to make sure I do Neo Nectar versus this deck, and we'll do some versus videos involving this, and yeah, just check it out. Planetal, if you want to build it, like I said, it's a super budget, super fun. It is a ride chain deck, so it can be frustrating when you miss the ride chain completely, but I highly recommend it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, I'm fairly new to the Royal Paladin. I went digging through the comments box at the shop, so if you guys have any tweaks or suggestions, let me know and I'll take into consideration. Thanks for watching, and keep tuned. We're going to have a lot more videos coming out this week for the week of BT14, even though we got started kind of late. Take it easy.